Hello. Hello, everyone. Jue Cha. How are you doing? Did you have a very good Jue Cha week? Good to have you here again. And today again is a very special day. A very good day. So today is the second theoretical class. And we're going to go deeper on the Jue Cha. We're going to work mostly on the requirements and that are needed to practice an effective Jue Cha, and also bringing more understanding about the Jue Cha, and talking a little bit about the material existence of life, or the material experience, and our relationship with that. That goes from our body to everything that is outside, and how that affect us in the process of building our own identification. Okay. Hello. So before we start, we're gonna unify our hearts and build the chi field to have the support from the chi field and the universe and our true selves. Okay. So adjust yourself to a good position. Look straight forward and slowly bring the vision inward. Close your eyes and relax. Relax the head and face. Relax the neck, the shoulders, arms, and hands. Relax the chest and upper back. Relax the abdomen and lower back. Relax the hips, the legs, and feet. Relax all the body, from the top of the head to the toes, from inside out. Bring your awareness deep inside of the body, penetrating everywhere, in every cell, every atom, until it becomes one with the void within the body. The void has no boundaries, no limitations. And through the void, we expand our awareness out in all directions, totally free and happy. Nothing can stop us, nothing is holding us. Expand out in all directions with total freedom and joy. Until you become one with the universe. Internal and external are one, and we are totally dissolved with the universe, even losing the sense of I, just being. And bring the awareness back to the center of the body, gathering pure chi within you and around you, feeling the connection from the deepest part of your being out to the totality of the universe, and the connection from the totality of the universe with the deepest part of your being. Internal and external are one. Everything is unite and connect. Connect with your heart deep inside. And open your heart total and unconditionally. Open your heart so that you can hold the whole universe with your heart, with true respect and humility, with Gonjin. And allow yourself to receive deep in your heart the infinite love and compassion of the universe. Let it come to your heart and unify with that. Connect your heart with my own heart, with Yonsei, Melissa, and everyone in this chi field. Together we can become stronger, and the powers of our heart will grow exponentially. In this field, in this unification, we're gonna give the utmost of our heart qualities to everyone, and we will allow ourselves to receive all these qualities from everyone in our hearts. We start and connect with trust. We connect with trust without conditions. We give trust without conditions, and we receive trust without conditions. We connect with a state of openness deep inside, and we use our heart to manifest it as strong as we can. We manifest it without any condition. We give openness without condition, and we receive openness without condition. We connect and manifest as strongly as we can with the quality of love. We manifest in our hearts love without conditions, and we give love without conditions, and we receive love without conditions. We connect and manifest gratitude without conditions. We give gratitude without conditions, and we receive gratitude without conditions. We connect and manifest Gonjing without conditions. We give Gonjing without conditions, and we receive Gonjing without conditions. Feel this higher state of being in your heart. How beautiful it is to manifest your pure heart without conditions. And from the bottom of our hearts, we open up and invite the true self to connect and manifest with our heart. We welcome the true self in our heart with the 5 Shin, and gently surrender to the true self, allowing it to manifest all his clarity, freedom, power, realization, wisdom, and light. Surrender and welcome the true self in your heart. consciousness, heart, and true self are now unified, working together in the same direction. The essence of who we are. From this essence again, with the 5 Shin, we open up and surrender to the universe, letting the laws of the universe to guide us, the light of the universe to bring clarity and dispel all the darkness within, the wisdom of the universe to give us realization and growth with total and unconditional surrender to the universe. And we accept with total gratitude what the universe will give to us. We are now ready to grow together, to learn together, and to bring light to our beings. Slowly, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much. It's very beautiful to unify with your hearts and to feel your hearts. And it can be really amazing when we just not only allow us to give our heart qualities without any condition, but when we allow ourselves to receive all these heart qualities from the others and from the universe without conditions, just total acceptance of them. Well, that is our true nature. It is how it is. So I hope that you had a very good week working on the Jue Cha and the beginnings of the Jue Cha, the understanding. On the first week, we talked quite a lot about the consciousness patterns, a little bit about the heart, and a little bit about the true self and the Jue Cha. And today we're gonna deepen that. So if we look into our essence, as you know, and I will review this, the most basic unity of the universe as we know it in Qigong is the Qi. The Qi is the building block of everything in the universe. And the Qi has 3 main components. That is information, matter, and energy. According to the qualities of the information, the Qi itself will gain certain qualities, will have certain directions, and will create certain effects. It can transmute from the physical state to the non-physical state, and from the non-physical state to the physical state. So these are the basic aspects of the Qi that everyone should know about, so that we can understand also the rest that we're going to talk today specifically. So we noticed in the first class, I told you that the consciousness has a particular way to deal with information. And how the conscious deal with information is by using the reference system and the patterns. So when the consciousness is exposed to any sort of information, that information will be analyzed according to the reference system, and then will be processed with the patterns and will give some sort of outcome to that information. It is important to know that the patterns are a tool from the consciousness. The patterns are not the consciousness. The consciousness is much more than just the patterns. But the patterns are tools that the consciousness uses to process the information. Has an outcome after processing the information. The patterns manifest an outcome, and the outcome could be thoughts. And with the thoughts, it can start to create rationality. I don't know if this is the right word. So we become rational. Is another outcome from the work of the patterns. So it creates the intellect, it creates the intelligence, it creates the thoughts, it creates the experience of the information that happens inside of the consciousness. It creates the visual experience of the visual information. It creates the sounds experience of the sounds information, and so on, the information that comes from all the senses. But the consciousness itself is not working at full potential. And that happens for one simple reason. The consciousness, at the level that the conscious identify mostly with the physical body. So there is a highly connection with the brain and the functions of the brain and the limitations that the brain manifests. We all know that the brain doesn't manifest all the capacities, and the consciousness manifests even less. And due to that limitations, the consciousness mostly, for most of the people, can only experience the physical world, and not that many more than just the physical world. Although, as we have done in the beginning, by using the consciousness in a special way, we can expand the consciousness to the universe, and we can experience the universe inside of the consciousness. But although that we can have some references, is a little bit more abstract that we experience in the daily activities. Normally we experience the body, we experience the space, the time, and the connection with and the relation with all the physical objects around. So that is one way to process the information, and the consciousness can also process information in other ways apart from the physical senses. And some people can even develop special abilities that will be it will be a different way, even different way to process information. But all that information is highly affected by the patterns. The processing of the information happens with the patterns. And that is why it's important to correct the patterns, to allow us to explore the potential and the capacities of the consciousness in the more complete way. Another way that is even wider to experience information. I forgot. So I also told you that the process of experience information in the consciousness has some delay with reality, because we receive the information and we need to go through the process of processing information, and after the process happens is when we experience information. So there is some delay between the factual information and the experience of the information that happens inside of the consciousness. The second way that we have to process information is through the heart. And the heart is faster, is it can get closer to the moment that the things are happening. The nature of the heart is with these 5 basic qualities that we normally use in Ren Shui, and other basic qualities like compassion, forgiveness, aspiration, devotion, and many other qualities that are present in our hearts. So those are native, natural qualities. But we also have patterns on the level of the heart. And those patterns can cover the purity of the heart. So like instead of trust, we might have doubts. Instead of openness, we might have closeness. Instead of love, we can have hate, and so on, and other things. So there are patterns that involve the heart. And the heart also processes information, and this processing of information is highly connected with the consciousness. So the more patterns the heart has, the more connected with the consciousness will be, because the true nature of the heart will be more difficult to manifest. So the heart has this way to process the information, and normally the outcome of the information that we experience from the heart is not thoughts, but is more feelings and emotions. And of course, these feelings and emotions will affect the processing of information in the consciousness, and the thoughts of the consciousness also affect the processing of information in the heart. So consciousness uses the tool of patterns to process information. The outcome will be thoughts, intellect, rationality, and so on, what we call the mind, the activities of the mind, and they are highly connected with the activities of the brain due to our identification with the body. Then we have the heart that processes information, and the heart is much close to the reality. If you notice, even before we have some intellectual information, our heart knows something. I'm sure that all of you have experienced this. Sometimes we need to go to a place, even before we arrive there, we know that there is something wrong or that there is something good. It's like sometimes we are traveling to a place that we don't know, and suddenly you just start to experience such a huge joy in our heart, like, oh my God, what is going on? This kind is a kind of manifestation of the intelligence of the heart, or the processing of information from the heart. And the heart can do that, can process the information before it is perceived by the consciousness or the patterns of the consciousness. And then we have the true self. The true self, the processing of the information is closer to reality. So to say, is closer to the moment that the things are happening. And the main tool that the true self has to process the information is the Jue Cha. I'm gonna go deeper on that. The Jue Cha, that normally we can translate as awareness. It is an awareness, but it's not the usual awareness or observation that we have in our intellect, that we have in our consciousness. It's a special state, but we're gonna talk about this after. So the true self deals with information by using the Jue Cha. The nature of the true self, on the true self, there are not patterns. It's just this pure state of total presence, observation, and awareness. And when the true self is using that, it looks to everything as very, very unique. To every moment has unique and irrepeatable. So it cannot be repeated. It looks something for everything like it's totally new the first time that we are seeing that. And because we have this kind of novelty, this kind of innocence, there is no need for patterns, and that is closer to reality. But we're going to go deeper to that. As an outcome from the processing of the information that comes from the Jue Cha, in our true self, we have what we call in Ren Shui, that is the Jue Chi. So I'm going to write you here, just in case that you don't know. Jue Chi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And that is the true understanding, the clarity, the knowing about the thing. So one of the problems that we have in creation of the patterns and the consciousness is that we perceive only partial information. And because we have only perceiving partial information, we don't understand clearly what the things are. On the heart, we have a more kind of, is different from the conscious, is a little bit more complete. From the patterns of the consciousness, a little bit more complete, but is still partial. With the Jue Cha, we can receive the total information, so that we can receive the information in the full bulk or closer to that. And that will allow us to have what we call it the Jue Chi, that is the true understanding, the true knowing. It's very difficult to explain this because it's very different from how the consciousness works. Through that process of having the true knowing, and with the Jue Cha is only the foundation. The others are more products from the Jue Cha. We also have what we call it the Jue Qing. I think is like this. That right. That means awakening. So we have this true understanding, and suddenly it's like, whoa. It's like we get out from a sleep state and we start to see the world in a different way. So it's like we are like, whoa. It's like we enter a new reality, an alternative reality of life. And the Jue Chi and the Jue Xing create the foundation for realization. That is the Jue. No, I forgot. Sorry. Jue Hu. Well, I think it's right. It's like this. If I'm writing wrong, let me know. I think it's like that. So it is a realization. And the realization is when the things real change, when we really create a strong change in life. And when we create realization, we create the foundation to start to have wisdom. Wisdom is different from intelligence, as you know. Thank you. So they are correct how I wrote them. The wisdom is very different from intelligence and from rationality. Yeah. So wisdom is is a knowledge that follows the wisdom of the universe, the laws of the universe, and that kind of knowledge is meant to benefit everyone. It's not selfish knowledge. It's not knowledge that benefits me and not the others. When we bring wisdom to the world, everyone will receive benefit from that. Of course, if they are willing to receive wisdom. A lot of people are not. So these are the outcomes in these different how we process information in the different stages of or in these three aspects of our being. Most of us process information through the patterns of the consciousness, and they have a lot of limitations. Sometimes, in some occasions, we let our heart to take care of this processing of the information, but it's not so frequent. Many times we even say that it's really bad to follow the heart. Well, the heart also has some patterns. Using the Jue Cha is very, very, very rare for anyone to do it. But is a tool that is present and everyone can manifest it. The realization and the true understanding and the awakening, they are not a tool. They are not a thing that we can manifest at our own will. They are an outcome from the Jue Cha, from the practice of the Jue Cha. So in this scale, we know that the consciousness, the heart, and the true self, the three interact with each other. But let's look at how most of the people operate. Most of the people operate through the patterns of the consciousness. It means that those patterns are controlling their lives. And because they have a lot of flaws, we have a flaw life. And we can say that there is a lot of ignorance of that because they don't reflect the reality. But there is already a lot of knowledge that we need to change the patterns, change habits throughout the world. We really talk about that. And how most of the people process this is to use practice like techniques of neuroplasticity, where we need to train our consciousness to weaken the connection of the old pattern. So we have here the old pattern. We want to weaken this connection by not repeating the pattern. It's like we create an atrophy, like a muscle atrophy, but it's a pattern atrophy. And then we create a new pattern, and we reinforce this so this becomes strong, and this will become the new pathway of answer to some information. This process is a process that is hard and requires a lot of time. And if we do some slightly mistake, we can go back to the old pattern very easily. Or if we go through some challenge or something, we can go back to the old pattern very easily if we are tired. And again, when we change this old pattern for the new pattern, normally we are not using wisdom, we are using intellect. So it means that we are using our old patterns to create a new pattern. And that is a little bit a no-end game. It will not give you more freedom. It can change some things in your life, of course, but will not really give you the true freedom, because you'll still be using your patterns to change the patterns. And like the classic analogy is like to ask to a thief that want to steal a bank to be the guard of that bank, because the intentions of the patterns are always to remain in control of our lives. They will never create new patterns that follow the laws of the universe or that are aligned with the true self. They just create new patterns, but create an illusion of something is getting better, but they still remain in control of your life. And we want to get free from that. We want to manifest the full potential of our consciousness, the full potential of our heart, and we want to free our true self so that our life will be guided by wisdom and by the universe, an alignment of the universe. So this is the normal process, how we deal with it has some benefits, of course, but it has a lot of limitations. Then we also have very similar processes to the manifestation and change of the qualities of the heart, which they can be good, more or less good, but they also not allow us to give the full potential. But when we evolve in let's say that we start to create more love in the heart, using that love to change the patterns will be more effective than use the patterns to change the patterns. Because when we start to manifest the true qualities in the heart, the consciousness will start to align closer to the laws of the heart, and together will align with getting closer to the true self. And that is why many systems in the world, they choose the path of the heart. We know that devotion has been one of the biggest teachings in many spiritual schools. Devotion to the teacher, devotion to God or gods or to the saints, whatever. They choose to show a lot of devotion because that activates the heart, that activates the pure heart. I know that in India there is even a system that is the Bhakti Marga, I think is the name, that is a lot of emphasis in the heart activities and manifestation of the heart. Because it's true, the heart will help us to transform the patterns in a better way than just using the patterns to change the patterns. And the heart also plays a very special role because the heart has a very strong connection with the true self. Of course, the consciousness can also connect with the true self, and we can go through from the conscious to with the conscious to the true self, and vice versa. But the patterns of the conscious are the ones that want less the true self to manifest. They will do everything to avoid the true self to manifest. And they are very intelligent and very powerful, very strong, very stubborn, and so on, and very self-centered, very greedy, very controller. So the heart will play a very big role to connect with the true self. So changing the patterns in the heart will help you to change the patterns in the consciousness, and will help you to start to open yourself to the true self, so that you welcome the true self in your heart and both can start to exchange information. Working on the heart is very effective and can be faster than working just in the patterns or using the patterns to work on the patterns. But then there is the true self way. And that is much more effective. Because once you have true understanding and you gain realization and wisdom, that will change all the system. Will be an immediate change. Of course, after you have a realization, you still need to deepen that. It's not that you receive the full power of realization just after the realization. No, you still need to work on that and deepen that so that you don't go back to the old patterns. But how the things change are very, very fast. Because, the processing of information or the patterns are just a tool. They are not, how to say, they process the information according to the references that receive and so on. When they receive a very strong evidence and clarity and no way that you need to deny very clear information from the true self, they don't have a choice. They will just not have the choice to do anything against that. The change will be immediate. And what will happen is that you gain understanding to work on Jue Cha. You gain a realization to work on the Jue Cha, and that will affect the foundation of the patterns. The patterns will change. The patterns will give you more opening. They will give a more expanded awareness, a more expanded consciousness. That expanded consciousness will allow you to manifest more easily the heart qualities. You will manifest easily your love and trust and so on. When you start to experience more those qualities, you open more to the true self. The true self, when you open more, the true self will be easier for you to manifest the Jue Cha. And when you manifest Jue Cha, you'll gain more realization and wisdom. And that will be a very positive cycle in your life. And after some certain amount of time and practice, naturally, your Jue Cha will allow you to realize your true self. And when you realize the true self, that is a moment that your true self starts to be in charge of your life, or at least 51% in charge of your life. And the patterns of the consciousness will lose power, lots of power. Once you start to manifest the true self and you start to realize it and that will be in charge of your life, the process of transforming life, transforming patterns and processing information will be mainly generated by the Jue Cha. Of course, you'll still use patterns of the consciousness and patterns of the heart, but the Jue Cha will start to be in charge to process information, or more in charge than the others, and that will help you to start to purify the consciousness. What happens? The consciousness use the patterns, is their tool of processing information. The patterns itself, the tool itself is not the problem. The problem is just that the tool is not working properly. So what happens when the true self will be in power and use realization and wisdom to change life? It means that we'll start to align the patterns of your consciousness with the wisdom of the true self. And it will help you also to manifest deeper and deeper the qualities of the heart. New openness will start to happen, and after those new openings, you'll have more realization and more opening will happen, and so on. It's a known end process. It's not because we realize the true self that we manifest the full 100% power and capacities of the true self. Is not. We still have a lot of space to grow. But it's better to have 1% of the true self in charge of our lives than have 99% of the patterns in charge of our lives. Is much better. So you see, they are all connected and there will be an alignment. What will happen with that alignment? Your consciousness, your heart, and your true self will be aligned as one. And then you'll not be more divided, you'll not be more separate. You'll be one, and you'll be the unity, and that unity will be one with the unity of the universe. There will be no more separation, there will be no more, this conflict and this duality of the gain and loss, the win and lose, and so on. That will be a process that will keep growing and growing in you, and will be more. So there is another thing that happens when the true self starts to manifest, and when it is in charge of life, that will be very clear. So you see, before I told you that Qi has information and energy and matter. Qi is also the vehicle to convey information. So all the information that we are going through in this process before this realization of the true self, most of the information comes through that process that exists in Qi. After the realization of the true self, a new thing will start to manifest quite strongly, that is light. Light can be even more refined than Qi, more pure, more, let's say, reflecting more the true nature of the universe. This is why if you are able to see Qi, when someone realizes the true self, most likely you will see white light around this person, or at least quite intense. And normally, if he's really realized, that light will be very stable, will not leave. Because it's the light of the Shen, of the light of the true self that is manifesting. And then that light can connect and open new paths of evolution and purification, or this and growth and keep realization and wisdom until who knows where. Okay, so these are the interactions of the three ways of processing information that we mostly have. And now we're going to focus a little bit more on the Jue Cha itself. Jue Cha is a very specific state of consciousness. Is a state that belongs to the true self. Sometimes I hope that you can understand what I'm trying to convey beyond the words, because some things is very difficult to be precise with words, because you can ask me, okay, the Jue Cha belongs to the true self, but we have the consciousness. So how can you say that Jue Cha is the special state of consciousness? Well, because it's a work of words, but the truth is also that the consciousness, although this state belongs to the Jue Cha, the consciousness is where you experience the world, where the experience of the world manifests, is the As I told you in the first class, it receives the information and you experience the information inside of the consciousnness. So the state of Jue Cha, the true self, you can experience it inside of the consciousness too. And the state of Jue Cha will bring you to a very special state of consciousness, a very special experience that is very different from other kind of experiences. Probably most of you have already experienced that spontaneously in some given moment in your life. But it's very important that we acknowledge it and we know more about it, how it really is, so that we can have the initiative to manifest it at our own will, and not only manifest it, but also maintain it. To maintain it is the most difficult part. So Jue Cha is a very special state of consciousness. We can roughly translate it as awareness or observation, but it is very different from the awareness and observation that we use from our minds. And the experience of Jue Cha can go from different, at least my own experience can go from different levels or in different ways. There is one that is very superficial. Well, no, I will not say I don't want to qualify or quantify the the Jue Cha, but there are different experiences of Jue Cha. There is one that is very practical, that happens in our daily activities, and there is other that I just experience that when I'm very mostly alone. It has already happened with being happening together when I'm not alone, but it can happen normally when I'm alone, and can be very, very, very deep. So when we use the Jue Cha, there are some requirements and some foundations that are very, very important for us to manifest it if we want to effectively manifest Jue Cha. The ones that I'm going to refer are very specific to Ren Shui. We can see similar ones in the other systems and others different, but the ones that I'm referring are the ones specific to Ren Shui. They are not the only ones, but it's the ones that we use in our, and we found that in our own experience to work very well. So these 6 words, you should memorize them. Yuan Tse is already telling these words from 20 years ago, so he has repeated these words many, many, many times. So requirements to practice Jue Cha: being relaxed, calm, and natural, integrated, unified, and harmonious. Relaxed, calm, and natural, integrated, unified, and harmonious. These 6 words, when we are manifesting these 6 qualities in our state, it becomes very, very easy to manifest Jue Cha. I have covered these qualities in previous workshops. Yuan Tse has covered these qualities in many classes for 20 years already. And they are very, very, very important. And this is not just a thing that Yuan Tse says, because Yuan Tse put it in a very precise way, but there are other wise men from the past that also refer these qualities as very important. So I will repeat it again: relaxed, calm, natural, integrated, unified, and harmonious. These are the foundation, the first foundation. Second foundation, or the second requirement: engage your heart. Engage the 5 heart qualities. Not only the 5 heart qualities, you can engage also compassion, devotion, aspiration, and other qualities that are in our true heart, in our pure heart. Why they are important? One is because it makes much more easier to connect with your true self, and the other, it also helps you much more easy for you to be relaxed, calm, and natural, and unified and harmonious. But also it helps you to fulfill other requirements, and the other requirements that are very important to use Jue Cha is to be able to do observation, self-observation, mainly, especially in the beginning, self-observation. And this self-observation is not the Jue Cha yet, is an observation that involves the consciousness, but we know that the consciousness is highly affected by the patterns. So we know that the patterns, they have the tendency to make judgments. And this observation that we want to do is important to not, is a very neutral and, let's say, scientific, factual, and I don't remember the other word, but very, well, it is what it is kind of observation. Why? Because it's an observation that you cannot make judgments, you cannot repress or nourish, you cannot reject or involved, you cannot make any kind of story about what you are observing. You cannot create any sort of interaction or control or involving with in any way with what you are observing. And this can be a paradox. So we need to be very neutral, and in order for us to take us out from those tendencies that come from our patterns, from the patterns of the consciousness, when we involve the heart, it will help us to go through that process much more gently and much more easy. I say that this can be a paradox. Why? Because at the same time that you are observing what is going on, you need to be unified with what is going on. And here is where the Jue Cha really start to take form. Because you are the one that experience the experience. You are the one that knows the experience, that sees the experience at the same time. And you can ask yourself, so how can I not make judgments, not do all these kind of things if I'm going through the experience? And at the same time, observe the experience from that neutral place. It's a kind of paradox, isn't it? If you have practiced the state of being relaxed, calm, and natural, integrated, unified, and harmonious, you can go through the moment, let's say, of manifestation of some intense experience like anger, fear, whatever. Observe that, be unified with that, because for us to really be able to observe something, we need to be able to look at that from all the angles possible. And to be able to look to all the angles, we need to unify with that. We need to experience in our skin, we need to experience in our feelings, in our eyes, in our sounds, etc. We need to really integrate ourselves with experience, unify with experience, but at the same time, we don't identify with experience. And here is where we can observe without going through that way of judging, rejecting, absorbing, repressing, explode, and all those things. We observe and unify without identifying ourselves with the experience. We are the one that is experiences. We are the one that is observing the experience, but we are not the experience. And this will lead you to Jue Cha, and you will be able to see the things with clarity, with totality. It's like that old thing. It's like you are seeing someone on the street and you are observing what that person is doing. And that person is experiencing something and is expressing that experience. And you make a judgment of that person. And that person will tell you, if you will be on my own shoes, you will not say that. Why? Because when we make the judgments, the judgment come from our patterns, and that judgment has lack of information, lack of knowledge, and so doesn't reflect the totality. How we gonna do it on the Jue Cha style? We're gonna integrate ourselves with experience. So we're gonna put ourselves in the shoes of that person, and at the same time observe the experience while we are in the shoes of that person, and then we're gonna have clarity about everything. And that will give us realization and wisdom, because we understand the totality of the experience, not just from the external person, but also from the side of the person that's experienced the experience. But at the same time, we know that we are not that person. So, and what if that person that you are looking at on the street is you? How is that gonna be? Who is you? Who is the life that you are experiencing? Who is the one that is experienced? And who is the one that is observing? Who is the one that is unifying? Who is the one that is integrating? It is important to have this in mind when we are going to this paradox of unifying ourselves with whatever we are experiencing, and at the same time be able to observe that in a very neutral way, without any of the artifacts of the patterns. What does the Jue Cha does more? So when the Jue Cha is observing something, and this is also another classic metaphor, is like a mirror. A mirror reflects everything from the most slightly detailed to the full scene exactly as it is. And once the scene ends, the mirror just keeps being a mirror. If there is nothing in the front to reflect, will not reflect this. If something will reflect it exactly as it is. And this is the kind of observation that we need to do too. We need to observe from in this very neutral, clear, and objective way. Even if we are experiencing, let's say, something like anger, we can maintain our Jue Cha and allowing ourselves to see the experience as it is, so that experience will allow us to gain more Jue Cha, that is true understanding, and with that will give us a realization. We need to also to be brave to do it, of course. Other requirements that can help you to manifest the Jue Cha is to be present, to be in the present moment. I'm sure that you have heard a lot about being in the present moment. It's very well known nowadays. Being in the present moment is very important for us to be able to manifest Jue Cha. Being in a present moment and see every moment as unique and non-repeatable. As soon as it happens, it will never happen again. As soon it begins, it ends. And Jue Cha, when you are present, you will be able to see it. And you will be able to be present and see the slightest detail to gain true understanding. You know, the patterns of the consciousness, they have this tendency to make things predictable. The patterns of the consciousness create the things in the way that they, if I do this, that will happen. If I do that, that will happen, and so on. Because it's very important for the patterns to have control over reality, or at least the illusion of control. Do the patterns have control of the world? As far as I've seen, none. Not. the patterns need to have expectations about what is going on and have the expectations very fixed. So what the patterns do, they numb us. They numb us to look to the world as not repeatable and continuous doing the same things. This is why sometimes we enter in this so deep in these patterns that we just let's say we just finished college and it seems that the next day we're already retiring. My life passed through us and we say, where my life gone? That is a tendency from the patterns of the consciousness. They create the past, the present, and the future. They organize the information in a memory. And to that memory, they numb ourselves in a way that this, seems that there is nothing new. Because when we see something, our patterns will associate that thing with a memory that is inside and say, oh, I have seen that. And it's not. If we want to manifest Jue Cha, we need to look at everything as it is the very first time that we see it. Has that child innocence and purity that is looking to everything with this wow, something new, so magnificent, so fantastic, so much things to learn. That is why children learn a lot, and it's so easy for them to learn, because things are new for them. When we think that there is nothing new, we don't have space to open, to learn more and to grow. So another requirement for us to manifest the Jue Cha is that to look to the things, to be in the present moment. So don't let ourselves to be absorbed by the past or the future, and to look at the things as very new, very fresh, like the first time. It's like, you know, the first time that we fall in love is like, it's the first time I fall in love. The world is so beautiful. Everything is rainbows and flowers and unicorns everywhere and so on. And after a certain amount of time, it's more like, one more love. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but it seems that we fall in love in the beginning, and that experience of the beginning of experience love, it seems that is irrepeatable. Why? Because we let ourselves to be numb by our patterns. That applies to everything. If everything is if we look to the information as it is seen for the first time, there is no way that information will be organized in the pattern, because the pattern is looking to the same information many times, repeating to look into the same information many times in the same way, we create a pattern. If we just look to one information one time and we know that that information will never happen again, how are we going to create a pattern? Because there is no time for creating patterns. And that is the nature of the true self. The true self does not operate by patterns. The true self looks to everything in this very pure state of novelty that creates this space for gain true understanding and realization. I told you about before about the this outcome from Jue Cha, that is the Jue Xing, that is the awakening. And when we awake, it's like we get out from this numb state of sleeping, and we start to see the world as a very new thing, as something that we have never seen. It's like we look to our house or to our room is exactly the same room, but for us, we look very, very, very different. And it's the same from the others. People from outside look at us and we look exactly the same. But inside, we'll feel totally different. And this is a lot of joy, it's really nice. When we start to use all these requirements and the observation that we can do, the awareness that we can do on that level, and if we have another key aspect, and this is the most important one, that is persistence, determination, and hard work. I will repeat them again. Persistence, determination, and hard work. This is so, so important. There are no magic pills. You really need to do this. If you do all that and you apply this key factor, this secret factor, you will start to manifest Jue Cha. And then when you start to manifest Jue Cha, in the beginning, it's better that you, let's say, use it as a practice, a more isolated practice, so that maybe you create conditions in your room where you can be relaxed, calm, and natural, where you can use easily to manifest all these requirements, and you do the self-observation there, and you start to manifest Jue Cha slowly in your room. You start to make progress on that. And then you start to increase the levels of difficulties. You start to go outside, or maybe to watch television, or to watch something on the computer and be able to maintain Jue Cha. It seems simple, but the truth is that these tools, computers, television, cell phones, they really steal our Jue Cha. They really make us ourselves to be absorbed again in the experience, instead of being unified with the experience and be able to observe the experience at the same time. We don't want to be absorbed by the experience. We don't want to lose ourselves there. One thing is to have the awareness and the intention of using our will to be unified with the experience. Another thing is to totally lose ourselves and let the experience to control ourselves, and to forget who we are through the experience. So in the beginning, maybe you start to do it in your room, in a very quiet place, in a place that you can have some control. Then or maybe you do it while you are doing the practice of Qigong. That is a very good moment. If you look all the system of Ren Shui and all the Qigong practices, they are meant to give us foundations for us to reach the requirements and manifest easily the requirements to manifest the Jue Cha. So you can use the system itself as a initiation for you to experience Jue Cha. Then you can challenge yourself. Maybe you go for a walk, and while you are going to a walk, you start to look, okay, I'm relaxed, I'm calm, I'm unified. You unify yourself with the movement, you unify yourself with what you are doing, with the sensations, cold, hot, etc. And you start to manifest all the requirements of Jue Cha, and you start to manifest it there. And then you can go just to other levels and increase the difficulty. You go to some situation that could be very stressful, like going in the traffic jam, or I don't know, whatever, or getting late to an important appointment, or these kind of things that happen in life that they can stress us a lot, or while you have a conflict and so on, and you can manifest Jue Cha there too. And if you make it that to become very present in your life, it can have a continuity even while you are sleeping. But that is already more can take more time to manifest. Jue Cha you can experience in different ways. You can experience in this very light way as a simple observation, and can go to much deeper ways. And on those deeper ways, you can really access to information that is not on books. Because the Jue Cha is also a process of identification with the true self, and is also a process of being absorbed by the true self. And the experience of that can be quite intense. In my own experience, I have experienced, but those states are mainly alone. It have happened sometimes when I'm with people, but when I'm alone, it's very easy for me to go into that. And the experience is quite deep, because we start to go back to this moment of being in the place that is very, very centered, and is very present in the present moment. There is no past, there is no future, and there is no space. Sometimes it feels like the breath stops. The state goes very, very deep. You stop to feel the body. You stop to feel even your mind, and so on. Is like this reality totally is not that is disappearing, but is kind of transformed. And then on that moment, the Jue Cha expand in a huge way, and very special information, very special understanding, very special realizations can happen. And in order to do that, we need to insist in the requirements. We need to insist in being relaxed, calm, and natural, and all the other requirements. In the beginning, I was experiencing that mostly when I was alone. And when I was with other people, it's a more recent experience. And that happened because I applied the secret: persistence, determination, and hard work. I apply that a lot. It's not that I'm special, or that I have something more than the others. It's not. I'm just like the others, like you and everyone. The secret is really that. It's just apply really hard work, really determination, and and persistence. Insist, 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 insist. Be a little bit obsessed about that. Make it a priority in your life. And then it will be more easy to do it, and you can have deep realizations while watching a movie or while talking with someone, or even while you are having some sort of conflict or some sort of stressful situation. In fact, a lot of deep realizations happen on those moments, because experiences are our teacher, and we need to go through the experiences to learn and grow. And Jue Cha will make that very clear for us. Will make us clear to see the things with clarity, to gain understanding, awaken, and realization, and then with realization to generate wisdom. I was looking to the time. We don't have that much time. Well, there is a lot to say about this. This is just a part of the guidelines for you for the next 2 weeks. What I would like you to pay more attention is to implement these requirements, to have this awareness of the different levels, how you process information, and understand the impact that that has on you, and try to slowly try to use the Jue Cha to become your main way to process information, or at least more present in your life. There is no limits of age to manifest Jue Cha, and there is no limits of the conditions, physical conditions, to manifest Jue Cha. Of course, if someone has some let's say mental problem, it will be very difficult just to understand what Jue Cha is. But in normal conditions, everyone can do it. And it's not because someone is old and is sick that can lose hope. It's not, because until our last breath, we have opportunities to reach a higher level of realization. We can reach the realization of the true self in our last breath before we die. So don't stop to do it. Don't lose hope. Don't make excuses for you. Do it. Don't think too much. Just do it. An aspect that I want you also to focus in this week or these 2 following weeks, and that will also be part of your homework, is to focus in the first aspect, and the easy aspect that is easier for us to observe. That is the physical or the material aspect of life. Again, going back to the Qi theory, the physical aspect of life is nothing more than a high condensed Qi and information. So the center of the material existence, or the most part dense, the denser part of the physical aspect, is where the Qi and information is most concentrated. And of course, because we use mostly our physical ways to receive information, our 5 senses, we look to the limitations of the most dense part of the body. But that doesn't mean that our body finish here. Our body expand more than this. But it's easier for us to do. It's like the universe is giving you a very clear opportunity to say, look, here is the information, here is what you can see. Here is the dense part. It cannot make it clearer than this, than the physical world. So because we receive that gift, we start to look at that. Try to explore, I don't know if we have still a little bit of time. We try to explore what is the nature of the information that is present on the physical aspect of life. So what you can do, you unify with your body. You relax your body, you be calm with your body, and so on. And you apply all the requirements to the physical matter. When I say with the body, it's not just the feeling of the body, like touching or the internal sensations and all those things. Is also the receiving and processing of information that we experience to the body. In the body, we have 5 main ways to receive information. That is from the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the touch, and the smell. So the 5 senses. And you can easily observe how this physical filtration of information, physical experience of the information affects you. Most of us are very numb to that. We go to a place and we get used to that, and that's it. We don't know, as an example, how colors affect our state, how colors affect how we make decisions, and so on. There is a strong psychology around the colors, even how the colors affect our health and many other things. So the other day I made a funny experience. These lights that I'm using, they have all the colors, the palette of colors, so I can turn it in any color. And most of us are used to look at white light from the sun, or some slightly yellow warm light, or that is the most, even when we go to a room where there are lights with other colors, we don't, those colors normally don't fulfill the room. So the other day I have made an experience, and I put these lights through the different colors. And so the room will become with the full colors. And on that room there was me, my cat, and my partner, my girlfriend. And was funny to observe how the colors, when the room was fulfilled with the light of certain color, was creating different effects on us, even in our stomach, in our physiology. The light of the moon on the snow, yes, that is another light. So it's funny to look at those things, at those aspects. And that was just the light, the color of the light, but we look at different colors in different objects every day. We look at the smell, how the smell affects us. There is this therapy, aromatherapy, that uses the smell to affect our health, but how the smell affects also our state, our well-being, all the different levels. Normally we talk about the food. Everyone knows about the food, and everyone knows about air pollution. But the other things are not so developed. And it's important for us to become aware of that. Become aware how that experiences affect the body. And don't forget to apply this principle. The body is experience the information, the effects of the information. You are unified with the body and you are observing the body, but you are not the body. Remember this, because this process of using Jue Cha is also a process of know who you really are. Have this awareness of this question, of this thought. There is an experience, or there is an information that is information from the material world, from the physical world, is going to your body. The body is manifesting reactions to that information. You decide to unify yourself with the body so that you become aware of every detail of the reactions that are happening in the body, how that information affects the body, and you'll use your ability to observe so that you can manifest your Jue Cha and together gain true understanding of the laws behind that, true knowing of the laws of the totality behind those experiences, and then luckily will help you to gain realization and wisdom. So that is the homework for you. I was hoping to have more time to tell you more things, but the time is almost over and we still need to do a healing. I think that I cover quite a lot of information today, and it will give you a lot of things to work on. Okay, so let's adjust to a good position to do the healing. The healing today, we're gonna go with the theme. We'll not. We can focus a little bit on the body, but in this healing, is important that you allow yourself to use Jue Cha, or at least the requirements for you to manifest Jue Cha. And how are we gonna do that? Let's say healing for the hand. What you do? In the beginning, we do the relaxed, calm, and natural state, but when you go to the hand, you unify yourself with the hand. Then you experience yourself the hand. Then you engage your heart to connect with the hand. Then you be present and you look to your hand as this is the first time that you experience your hand. Every moment that you experience your hand will be the first time that you are experiencing that moment. And then just observe the total, neutral, non-judgmental, non-manipulating, non-rejecting, non-be absorbed, not repressing anything. Just a pure state of observation, a total state of making awareness on that present moment there. And we make it this unique. And we can call this a healing, but it's a Jue Cha healing. Normally in healings, we try to do some intervention to change something. In the 2 days healing, we will just observe, and then we will let our realization, our true self, our awakening, our Jue, our true understanding, to create the effects that are meant to happen there. What we're gonna do, this healing will be surrendering to the true self and to the universe. They know better than us what to do. Okay. So adjust yourself to a good position and slowly bring the vision inward. Close your eyes and relax. Relax the head, the face, the shoulders, arms and hands. Relax the chest and upper back. Relax the abdomen and lower back. Relax the hips, legs, and feet. Relax the body. Relax. Relax the mind. Be calm. Be natural. And slowly use our awareness to integrate all the body. And start to unify with all the body. And feel the state of harmony within. Connect with your heart and activate the 5 heart qualities. Trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gonjin. The 5 Shin, the 5 heart qualities, will go together with your awareness and unify with your awareness and your body. Slowly bring your awareness to your head. Unify with your head. Be present. Look at it as it is the first time and observe it like a mirror. Be present and observe every slightly detail there. Bring the awareness to the eyes and do the same. To the nose, the mouth, the ears, neck, chest, lungs, heart, spleen, pancreas, stomach, liver, and gallbladder, small and large intestine, kidneys, bladder, sexual and reproductive organs, spine, upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, and feet. Shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, and hands. Expand the Jue Cha now to all the body and allow yourself to observe the totality of the body. Gently, with your hands, draw the chi back to your lower dantian. And nourish chi with your lower dantian, in your lower dantian. Bring your hands to the heart and pull the hands in the heart. With the 5 Shin now, connect and reinforce the key to be successful in Jue Cha and life cultivation. Persistence, determination, hard work. And the foundation, relaxed, calm, and natural, integrated, harmonious, unified, and Jue Cha. With these tools, you'll be able to manifest Jue Cha. You'll be able to follow all the requirements to manifest, to take initiative to manifest Jue Cha, and to maintain and grow Jue Cha in everything that you do. From the most simple breath to the most complex activities. It will grow moment to moment, bring you more true understanding, true knowing, awakening, realization, and wisdom. Your true self will manifest and will be the master of your life. Hands to the sides, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I went a little bit over time. Sorry about that. It was a lot to cover today. I was hoping to cover even more, but I think is enough. Maybe next class we'll be able to cover more. So next Tuesday we'll still have the 3 groups for the Zoom groups for your meetings to share. Normally I give some guidelines or some questions for you to explore and deepen. You are very welcome to come to those groups. I had one group that was at 8 a.m. Portugal time, so I was talking to them last Tuesday, and I'm gonna pass that for 7 a.m. in Portugal because it's easier for people to come, and then there will be the other at 5 p.m. in Portugal and the other at 8 p.m. in Portugal. I think is a good moment. I was impressed because I was thinking, well, people maybe will stay 1 hour, but I've seen a lot of groups that were there for 2 hours. I think that the conversation was very involving with them. So thank you so much, everyone. Please apply. Apply and practice. There is no excuse. You can practice Jue Cha at every moment. Exactly, you need every moment to practice Jue Cha. That is your tool. You don't need to close your eyes. You don't need to do movements or change your daily routine. You just need to be present and use all the requirements so that you can start to manifest Jue Cha more and more. For sure, you will start to experience challenges because although Jue Cha seems simple, is not that simple. Is in fact challenging. So learn from your challengings, write them down. Any question that you have, write it down. You can bring it to the groups, discussion groups that we have, or you can bring it for the next class in the next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful morning, day, evening, and see you soon. Much love to everyone.